It is our week 4 recap as we look back at the SEC. And to me, Tennessee was obviously, and I don't know that this is even debatable, the big winner in the SEC by beating Oklahoma on the road. First time they beat a top 15 on the road since Georgia 2006. What else did you make of the SEC? As we'll have a poll question up here momentarily. Perhaps, I don't know, winner of the week in the SEC? Would you like to go that direction? Loser of the week?
I go all of college football for this recap, and Tennessee's the winner of all of college football this past weekend. I mean, they are the biggest winner of college football. I mean, they dominated a top 15 team on the road. And, it's funny, Dave. Tennessee has played with Nico Iamaleava. They have won 5 straight. They've won 3 of those 5 have been against ranked teams away from home. And they only allowed a defensive touchdown in one of those games, and it was in the fourth quarter after they were totally dominating. And we keep hearing skeptics say, well, Iowa's not that good. Well, NC State's not that good. Well, Oklahoma's not that good. How many times does Tennessee have to beat a ranked team? And how many times are we going to hear that they aren't that good? I mean, at some point, are the polls that bad where they happen to wrongly rank 3 teams out of 5 that Tennessee plays?
With you. All right, here's my 3. And if you want to fill in a 4th, you can. Winner of the weekend in college football, Tennessee, James Madison, Michigan. James Madison hung 70 on North Carolina.
Yeah. President James Madison won 2 elections. But that game is more about North Carolina being a loser, which we'll get to. But okay, North Carolina's an absolute loser.
Winner of the weekend. Do you have a 4th you want to put in there? Because I'm setting the poll question.
Let's see. You said, yes, Washington State, because I want to get to why Washington State's a winner.
Okay, I like that. And our last poll question finishes this. Which be the hottest in the SEC? As if you want to hit that super chat button, maybe we can get Caleb some lozenges. Whose seat should be hottest? Billy Napier, 68%. Hugh Freeze, 24%. Brian Kelly, 6%. Everybody loves Sam Pittman. He just gets 1%, even though
he's such a good guy.
No, but he's probably second on that list, realistically, behind
Napier.
Behind Napier. If I had to rank them, I would rank them. What I would say. Napier, Pittman, Freeze, Kelly.
Yeah, that's probably the way it's going to go. I agree.
Okay. All right. Where are we starting with our recap?
Well, that's my first recap. My number 1 was Tennessee. They dominated the weekend. I mean, it's funny. When you go national, you can't avoid Tennessee this past weekend. They are the story of college football, and they're the biggest story in college football right now. I said they would be after the Oklahoma win. I was just wrong in how. I thought they'd be the biggest story because of Nico, and they're the biggest story because of their defense.
Yep. Do you think, based off what you saw, that Josh Heupel is willing to win a game like he did against the Sooners, that it could actually hurt Nico's chances of winning the Heisman?
Yes, and I'm worried about that because I put money on it. But
we'll talk about that tomorrow. All right. Who else won the weekend?
All right. So number 2, guys, Michigan's not done yet. Dave, not only did they beat USC, you want to know how many passing yards they had in the game?
Wait on me.
32. This was a Bo Schembechler type of win, if there ever was one, and they have to be proud if they're Michigan. It was an old school, ground and pound win with defense. You're not impressed. You're like, no, that just means that the offenses were terrible.
No, I think Southern California's defense is very average at best. I mean, I just don't. They can talk about how you bring in transfers or you bring in the same type of recruits with the rankings that other teams do, but the bottom line is you want those big nasties. It's about the guys that are 315 pounds that have great feet, and for whatever reason, with the exception of perhaps Polynesian players that we've seen on the West Coast and in Hawaii, they're more oftentimes found in the Southeast. Now, that's not a rule, because I've covered recruiting up and down the coast. I mean, there's an Eddie Goldman in Washington, for instance, but for the most part, those guys are in the SEC. So to me, I think you'll always face that challenge if you're not in the SEC. Continue to recap. Last look brought to you by Campbell Cunningham, Taylor & Hahn.
See every play, even from the upper deck, with LASIK vision correction from the Campbell Cunningham Laser Center.
All right, Caleb, what's next?
Just quick shout outs to Utah, Illinois, BYU. All of them beat ranked teams. Illinois beat Nebraska on the road. Utah beat Oklahoma State without Cam Rising. Utah's a contender, guys. That's an underrated contender. I'm going to get to my top 10 in a minute. But and then, of course, BYU obliterates Kansas State. Another one I just wanted to mention real quick, Missouri survives ugly, and Arch Manning looks a little bit underwhelming for Texas. Those are two SEC disappointments that I took as one. Arch Manning looking disappointing kind of shocked me, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I go back to San Antonio, University of Texas San Antonio, that he looked so great against. And he's a much better runner than Quinn Ewers. And I wonder, he looks fast, the bottom line is. And you would think Texas San Antonio would have fast players, but I wonder how much they were caught out of position. And it's his first start. So comparatively, they ran a stat with the Mannings, Eli, Arch, and Cooper. No, I'm kidding. Cooper didn't play. And Peyton. And let's say that Arch definitely had the best day of the four quarterbacks that have played in the SEC and then in college football.
In their first start, yes, but Peyton Manning faced the number one defense in college football for his first start in Washington.
That's right. That's right. I mean, just the SEC, it's funny to me, is their PR department, I think, has expanded by like 30 people. I mean, they're just pushing stuff out.
They are.
Same for Bill Martin, who's doing a fantastic job there at the University of Tennessee. All right, what else?
All right, so a few more. Coach Prime's magic is back, and it's at my expense. That Hail Mary to beat Baylor, largely because Dave Aranda doesn't know how to call a defense with 2 seconds left and a team needing a Hail Mary. But look, Travis Hunter, Dave, he had a touchdown grab, 130 yards receiving, and he had the game-winning forced fumble. I mean, Heisman talk has to continue with him.
You suck, you jackass.
I just don't want to talk about Deion anymore.
I don't like it either, but like they are 3-1, and so it's just it is what it is. Sticking with it, Washington State. It was a week of almost upsets for a group of 5 teams trying to get that group of 5 spot in the playoff. Memphis lost to Navy, and Northern Illinois lost to Buffalo. Washington State held on to beat San Jose State 54-52 in overtime. So they now are clearly in the lead for the last group of 5 spot in the college football playoff, which I know you don't care about, but those games are epic, Dave. I'm sorry if you're watching them.
No, I'm in. I'm rooting for James Madison.
Yes.
Who's next?
Well, that's UNC suffering a humiliating loss to James Madison, giving up 70. Tennessee fans, be excited. North Carolina is ripe for the picking and recruiting. Tennessee has a really unique opportunity right now as we speak to lock off the Carolinas like they haven't done since the 90s.
Yeah, no, completely agree. You've proven you can hammer Dave Doran when he supposedly has a top 25 team. I don't think they're going to end up being a top 25 team. North Carolina's got blown out by James Madison. If you send your kid there, you must not like him. And then South Carolina is going to be making a coaching change with Shane Beamer. Here's the other factor you could say. Well, with a coaching change comes excitement and NIL money, more NIL money. Yeah, I mean, you could say that if you wanted to, but do you think either of those schools can outbid Tennessee for a guy they really want? Like David Sanders, for instance.
No, they absolutely can. And that's why Tennessee's going to absolutely dominate over that region, particularly with, we didn't talk about this last week, Dave, but it kind of came out that Clemson and Florida State are willing to come back to the negotiating table with the ACC, which tells us that I want to give us credit real quick. T. Scott Jones was on our show. He because of him, we stood firm against everybody. Like, oh, that's not ironclad. They're going to get out of it. And we were like, no, they're not. They're not getting out of this. They can't. And that's going to help Tennessee recruit that area too.
No, I agree with you. So record number of live viewers. So if you're tuning in, I appreciate that. Hit the like and subscribe button. We're weekdays at 10 a.m. Of course, you can watch the entire show or you can watch the snippets of it and its own individual forms on the YouTube. Turn the notifications on also if you're on one of our podcast platforms so that you get notifications. All right. We've got 3 more takeaways. Caleb, what else have you got?
Miami and Ole Miss are the two dominant offenses of college football right now. They're the 2 most fun teams to watch right now. Tennessee's going to catch up, but right now it's Miami and Ole Miss.
100% health. If Tennessee's 100% healthy, how would you rank those 3 teams?
overall, talent-wise, well,
Best offense. Who scores the most points?
best offense. Oh, I would say Tennessee then. I would actually say Tennessee. But right now, Miami and Ole Miss have the most fun offenses to watch.
I would say Ole Miss just by a hair because I like Jackson Dart as much as Nico. And
Lane Kiffin's going to make it fun.
Well, he's just he's just experienced. I take a little bit more experience, but again, Nico is experienced beyond his years. All right, what else?
Yep. So you're going to do yours a little bit later in the weekend, but yours are projections, and mine are the race right now. My Heisman race right now. Cam Ward leads the way at number 1. He's balling. Jackson Dart's number 2. Jalen Milroe's number 3. Travis Hunter's number 4, and Drew Aller at Penn State's number 5 are my 5 Heisman leaders as of right now.
Can't argue with that.
And my top 10, I'm going to say up front, Ohio State's not in my top 10. They still haven't beaten anybody. Call me when they do. My top 10 is based on your resume right now, and they're not a top 10 team right now. My top 10 is Georgia, number 1. Tennessee is number 2. Yes, I got Tennessee number 2. And I got Texas number 3. Alabama number 4. Utah's all the way up at number 5 after beating Oklahoma State. Oregon's number 6. Penn State's number 7. Miami's number 8. Missouri's number 9. Illinois is number 10.